So Future Imperfect, we finally got it, man. It's been months since the Kate Bishop DLC for Marvel Avengers. So, does it live up to the hype? Does it live up to the expectations we set after waiting as long as we have? How's it going, everyone? My name is Tootin. Welcome back to the channel. And today I wanted to give my quick-ish review on the Future Imperfect DLC involving Hawkeye and the PS5 version of Marvel's Avengers. We're not going to be doing a full, in-depth, hour-long, short story review, long story review on this DLC because there's not enough content. If I make an hour-long review, hour and a half longer review, you spend more time watching this than playing the DLC. But with that being said, we're going to talk about the DLC itself first, and then we're going to move into the PlayStation 5 version of the game. So to start with the DLC, what you're seeing right now is you're seeing the one mission that pops up after the DLC is completed. I'm not going to be showing any story, gameplay, or anything else for this DLC because, I wouldn't want any part of it spoiled for me, so I don't want to spoil it for anything else. I'm going to try to keep the spoilers as small as I can, even though there's just not a lot to talk about here. So with that being said, let's talk about why there's not a lot to talk about. Man, this is maybe an hour and a half DLC. Whereas Kate Bishop, I remember playing that DLC for maybe 3-4 hours. It was a full, what felt like story DLC, adding on the campaign in a lot of great ways. Had a lot of interaction between the characters, had a lot of dialogue, had a lot of missions to go through, even after you beat the actual, story part of the DLC itself. This is a very hollow shell of what that was. And I believe the reason for that is this DLC was supposed to come out a month after Kate Bishop. You can tell these DLCs play, together very well. Kate Bishop's DLC ends where this one begins, like literally where this one begins. So I feel like the DLC structure for this game was supposed to be big DLC, follow-up DLC, and then months in between, big DLC, follow-up DLC, months in between. It feels like it was something like that. So this DLC is maybe an hour and a half long. Well, is the character worth playing the DLC for? Yes, Hawkeye is very, very fun. Look, we gotta get this out of the way. This DLC is free. This whole thing is free. Hawkeye is free. The story that comes with it is completely free. The only thing you have to pay for, and that is optional, is Hawkeye's Battle Pass. And that's really, if we break it down, that is what we're discussing whether you should buy or not. Because if you own this game, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, whatever you have this game on, if you already paid for the game, this is free. So yes, it is 100% worth reinstalling the game for. You get the shit for free. You get an hour and a half DLC, full, cutscenes, new character, completely free. So yeah, if you own the game, go play the shit. What we're really going to be breaking down is whether this is worth spending the money on the, the character for. And yeah, that is, it's worth it. I mean, Hawkeye is a very fun character, even if, the DLC isn't very long and you're not leveling your Hawkeye up very much in the DLC, it's still worth spending the $10 on Hawkeye because he's got some cool stuff in his Battle Pass, and the character is honestly really fun to play as. Not as fun as Kate is, but that's beside the point. So, the story of this game, I can already tell you Maestro was completely wasted. I'm not going to spoil any big parts of the DLC, but basically this whole DLC is a big goose chase, right? You're chasing the golden goose, who happens to be Nick Fury. We know this is set up from the Kate Bishop DLC. You're trying to hunt down Nick Fury, so of course you get to play as, Old Man Hawkeye. And there's some stuff that leads into there, and I mean, the whole DLC is over in the blink of an eye. Maestro, he literally, I will say this, he literally appears when you fight him. That is the one and only time he appears, and then the DLC is over right after a cutscene and a half after that. So as far as, length of this DLC goes, it is very short. I think the only thing that we can do for this DLC is criticize, what it is and what it does. And what it is and what it does, whereas Kate Bishop's DLC, it felt like all of the characters were a part of the story. All of the characters were interacting and talking. They were all a part of everything going on. You had dialogue between Thor, you had dialogue between Iron Man, Captain America, Bruce had some dialogue, Black Widow, like all of the characters were involved in the DLC. Well, let me tell you right now, Black Widow has 2 lines of dialogue, and I think Thor has a line of dialogue. Besides that, you hear them on your team talking about home runs and wanting their unibeams back. That's it. There is no other character interaction besides the characters that play a direct role in the story, which are Old Man Hawkeye, Hawkeye, and Kate Bishop. That's literally it. I think Hank Pym has a few lines of dialogue as well. But beyond that, there is no character interaction. And I know it sounds like I'm completely shitting on this DLC, but I want it to improve. I had a lot of fun in the hour and a half I played it. But beyond that, there's no character interaction. The missions, they were fun. The story was interesting. The story that we were following was very interesting. Clint's story, Old Man Clint and present Clint, their story was very interesting. The dynamic between both Clints and Kate, it was a very good story. The lead up, finding out what is happening, what happened to this world, what happened to the Kree, why Maestro is the way he is, albeit you didn't get much there. I feel like this was leading into more. I don't think this story is over. I feel like it's leading into a bigger DLC. Like I said, Kate Bishop's DLC was the bombshell. This is the aftermath, and then we lead into another bombshell with another aftermath. I feel like it was supposed to drop one right after the other. So is this DLC top tier? Is it as good as Kate's? Hell no. On a scale of 1 to Kate Bishop, it's a 5. It's not very good considering the length of it. What is happening inside the DLC, inside the hour and a half, is really fun, but the length, it just pulls it all down, man. I feel like this, waiting 3 months on this DLC, it's hella disappointing that we waited 3 months on an hour and a half of gameplay and 1 mission after the story. Of course, I haven't done Hawkeye's full, character-specific quest line yet. I'm getting close to that. And then there's another actual, Wasteland quest line to go on. But it's got some really grindy specifics behind it to get it done. So the Hawkeye DLC, while it's good while it's there. I will say that. It's good while it's there, but you are left with a bitter taste in your mouth because of how short it is. Hawkeye, like I said, Hawkeye is really fun to play. His skins are great. I bought the Old Man Hawkeye skin, and I bought the classic Hawkeye skin, and I bought the Battle Pass with it. So, I mean, Hawkeye's fun. I'm having a lot of fun playing as him. I'm finding his bow's not very fun compared to his special moves, like his hold triangle, hold heavy for his special moves. But that leads us into the PS5 version of the game, and this is where it really gets good, right? This free upgrade PS5 version of the game. Of course, you gotta have the $400 or $500 console to play it, but I was extremely impressed with the PS5 version of this game. You get 2 settings when you actually load up the game for the first time. You get higher graphics quality or higher frame rate. Higher frame rate is basically playing PS4 Marvel Avengers at 60 frames a second, which is nice, but you realize how much you're missing out on when you go to the higher quality, because holy shit, the textures look great, the anti-aliasing looks great, the shadows, the post-processing, it all looks amazing. It looks like a completely different game, and of course it's locked at the PS4 at 30 frames per second, which is fine. I can put up with the dip in frame rate for the overall graphic quality improvement. It looks amazing. The controls all stay the same for the most part. You just get that haptic feedback on the PS5 controller. Makes the game feel like an entirely different game too. That feedback you're getting in both of the controller, right trigger, left trigger. The feedback you're getting in like the rumble for the controller when you're sprinting or jumping or getting hit or hitting something. Like it feels absolutely insane. The graphics are greatly improved, as I said. The only thing that actually, ironically enough, doesn't feel as good is using the bow. Because if you're using the bow 95% of the time, unless you are one of those people that charge every arrow that you fire, you're quick firing the arrows. And that is a little tasking and will make your finger very, very, very sore. But beyond that, all of the other characters, they feel absolutely amazing. They look amazing. The new UI for the game, looking at the missions, it looks great as well. Overall, a very, very good improvement upon, the original PS4 version of this game. The future Imperfect DLC, while it was a letdown, it's free and it's still definitely worth reinstalling the Avengers game for, or just booting it up and playing it. It's an hour and a half, 2-hour DLC that you get completely free with a whole new character, whole new, line of gear, stacks, skills, all of that for free. It's really fun, and you optionally can choose to spend money on it if you want to. But it's definitely worth playing. It's not worth buying the game on its own to play it, for sure, unless it's worth it if you haven't played the Kate Bishop DLC to buy the game. Buy the game, play the Kate Bishop DLC, and play the Hawkeye DLC with it. That is worth it. But buying the game just for the Hawkeye DLC alone, you're going to end up being very, very, very disappointed. But that is my review of the PS5 version of this game and the Hawkeye DLC. The PS5 version of the game is great, definitely worth buying. It feels good, it looks good, and you have options along with that. You want higher frame rate at lower graphics quality? Cool. You want higher graphics quality at lower frame rate? Cool. Whatever you want there. The controls feel great, the controller feedback feels great. The Hawkeye DLC, like I said, a little bit disappointing. It leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. That's how I can describe it. Very bitter taste in your mouth with how short it is. But overall, Avengers game is looking up. I can't wait to see what the Black Panther DLC is. Hopefully it is the length of the Kate Bishop DLC, because I'm not really marking this as a black check mark, because I feel like this was supposed to come out very shortly after Kate Bishop, and I feel like the Black Panther DLC is going to be a full Kate Bishop length DLC, and it will be followed up with a smaller Hawkeye level DLC. We'll see. That's my theory on it. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Make sure to share it around with your friends if you enjoyed what I said, or, you know, didn't enjoy what I say and you want to make fun of me. Either way, share the video around. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host. My name is Tootin, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.